So to understand this, let us now turn our attention to acquisition reports. And the idea for the acquisition reports is to analyze how the different traffic sources to the website are doing. So to understand this, we should first understand this dimension called medium and source. So these are the two dimensions that are used in sync to explain the referral traffic report. Here, medium is the more general category, whereas source is a specific type in that category. So for example, when we say organic, then it is a medium. And when we say source, that an example of that source is Google. So if a user has clicked on an organic link in Google, then this will show up as the medium organic and the source Google in the referral traffic report. Now there are several possible values of the medium. The first one is none. And whenever it says none, it means that these are those users who have either bookmarked the website or have directly typed in the URL of the website. Now the source for such a medium shows up as direct. And another medium which is shows up very often is organic, which I just talked about, with the source being Google or Bing, etc. Then another medium can be CPC, and this medium records clicks from ads. We also have a medium called referral, which talks about traffic from different websites which are not search engines, right? Because traffic is directed from the search engines, but it can come from links on other websites as well. So when we say organic and CPC, this is about traffic coming from search engines. And when we say referrals, it is about traffic coming from websites other than search engines. Once we are able to classify the sources of traffic, we can further analyze that what is the quality of traffic coming from different sources. It may be that the organic links are bringing in traffic with a low bounce rate, whereas referrals are bringing in traffic with a very high bounce rate. If that's the situation, you might actually want to implement your search engine optimization efforts very carefully, because that's what is going to give you the maximum benefit, because by doing SEO, you will get a high organic search result, and that will help you a lot in terms of bringing in the good quality traffic. If on the other hand, you focus on getting referrals from websites, and if those websites are not really doing a good job, then you might not want to focus on building those relationships with websites, because the main websites that come up in your reports don't show up as sending you a high quality traffic. Now, sometimes as we analyze these reports, adding secondary dimensions can also turn out to be very useful. So I will show you an example of that as we go along. Now, here is an example of the source and the medium report. You can see in the first row that the medium is organic and the source is Google, and the website is getting 6,039 users in the time frame for which this report is generated. And similarly, we have got the other kinds of metrics as well. In row number 2, you can see that the direct oblique none comes up. So your none is the medium and the direct is the source. These are those users who are coming in through bookmarks and through direct typing of the URL of the website, right? And so on and so forth, right? We can also see in row number 7, this says not set. And when you see not set, what it means is that Google is unable to identify the source of traffic for these 302 users. So this is our the source and the medium report. If actually you glance towards the left of this slide, you see that this is a part of the all traffic report. The all traffic report actually can be of different types. It can be a channels report, it can be a tree maps report, or it can be a source medium report. The source medium report, as I just described, is a little bit harder to understand, but it carries more information. An alternative report to the source medium report is the channels and the tree maps, and they have got different advantages, right? They have, sometimes they may have different kinds of information, or sometimes they may be easier to digest. So we will see examples of both of these as well. Here is, but before we go there, here is an example of an addition of the secondary dimension on the source and the medium report. So what we have done here is that if you glance on the second column here, which is day of the week, this column did not appear in the previous report because we had the source medium, and then immediately following the source medium, we had all the metrics. But now, before the metrics show up, we have another column called day of the week, right? And what we have done is that we have added a secondary dimension called day of the week, which is very easy to do. And I encourage you to do this as you practice in your accounts. Now, the day of the week equal to 1 is Sunday, and so on and so forth. So you have 7 days of the week. So what this secondary dimension now does is it segments the traffic coming from a particular medium source combination on the basis of the day of the week. So you can see that the organic clicks coming from Google are the highest on day number 3, which is therefore Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So this is Tuesday, right? And you get the maximum number of users from the organic clicks on Google on Tuesday, right? So this tells you something about the distribution of traffic coming from different sources. And this might also give you a sense that if I want to maybe run my ad campaigns, which days are better days for me to invest more in my ad campaigns. Because Tuesday seems to be a great day in terms of bringing in traffic. Perhaps a lot of people are searching for your website on Tuesdays for whatever reason. And if that's the case, perhaps you want to intensify your ad campaigns on those days as well, right? So you can see immediately adding the secondary dimension gives you more information, which can be very valuable in giving you some insights into how to run your marketing campaigns. Now, in generating this referral traffic report, the attribution of traffic is very important. So let me explain what attribution means. So look at this user who comes along to this website 3 times. So the first time this user comes, he generates session number 1. Okay. And this user has come in through an organic click on Google. So the medium is organic and the source is Google. Now, the next time the user comes along, the user comes in through a bookmark because the user has visited the website, has liked it, and has bookmarked it. So now should this appear as direct traffic or should this appear as organic traffic? And the way that Google Analytics does it is that it says that because the first visit of the user was through an organic click, the second visit, which was a direct click, is only because of the fact that the user came in first through an organic click, right? So the benefit of that second visit also is attributed to the organic side, and is not counted as a direct visit by the user, right? And look at the session number 3. Once again, it is a direct bookmark visit, and once again, it would be counted as part of organic, right? So this the numbers for the organic traffic are going to be incremented by the session number 2 and session number 3 for this user, right? Now, this is not always the case, but I'm just giving you an introduction. I'm going to explain this more as we go along. Now, let's take a slightly different example. The first time the user comes in, still comes in through the organic click, okay? And the second time the user comes in, the user does not come in through an organic click, but rather the user was perhaps browsing some other website and found a link for our focal website on that other website and clicked on that link and came to our website. So this website now created a referral for our website. So the session 2 came in through that referral. And now because of that, and you can see that that's why the medium for the second visit would be referral. and the source would be the domain name, right? The website URL address, which referred this user to our main website. Now, the session number 3 might be a direct visit, but once again, the benefit would be attributed to the website that referred to the user in the previous visit, because it is this previous visit that somehow is responsible for the user coming in the direct visit the next time, right? But so then you might then ask that how would direct visits be counted at all, right? Because every time the user comes in, if the first time the user comes in is through a direct visit, then it's fine. But otherwise, the user can never be a direct visitor. Well, actually, this is not the case. There is a default time limit of 6 months that applies, and if the duration of the 2 subsequent visits is more than 6 months, then in that case the attribution is to the direct visit, and if the difference between the duration, if the duration is less than 6 months, then the attribution is to the previous method of visit to the website. So let me explain with this example. Let us say in January 2015, on January 1st, 2015, an organic click-through was recorded and the user came in through this organic click-through. Now on April 4, the user came in through a direct visit. Now less than 6 months have elapsed, and therefore this direct visit by this user will be attributed to the organic click. Moving on to the right side of the slide. Once again, the user clicked in through an organic click on January 1st. Okay. And now the user on January 4th comes in again. But before the user comes in on April 4th, before the user comes in on April 4th, this user deleted their cookies on February 8th. In absence of the cookies, this user cannot be attributed to the previous visit by this user. That attribution cannot be made because there is no way to identify this user on April 4th. And so this visit will be considered as a visit by a new user and will count as a direct visit. Now, another situation, another scenario. The user comes in on January 1st, 2015 through the organic click, but there is a long gap before the user comes in again. The next time the user comes in is on July 2nd. And now because more than 6 months have elapsed between these subsequent visits by the user, and even though the user may not have deleted their cookies in between, this would still be recorded as a direct visit by the user. Let's move on to the right side of the slide. Okay, so here the organic click happened on January 1st. Then the user came in as a direct visitor on April 4th. And this April 4th visit still is attributed to the organic click, right? Because less than 6 months have gone by. Then the user comes in again on July 2nd through a direct visit. But once again now, even though the more than 6 months time gap has occurred between January 1st and July 2nd, this will still count as an organic visit, because by visiting the website on April 4th, the user has reset the clock in some sense. And if this visit was to be counted as an organic visit, it's still less than 6 months from April 4th, right? So that's why we are counting this as an organic visit. So if more than 6 months elapse after April 4th, then the subsequent visit would be counted as a direct visit. So this is how attribution is done in the referral traffic report. Now I was talking about the default duration of 6 months, which kind of matters in terms of deciding the attribution. This can actually be changed, and it depends upon the settings in Google Analytics. If you believe that based on the nature of your business, based on the nature of your visitors, a different session setting is required, so you can change this length to a more suitable time frame. Let's move on from the medium and the source report to the channels report. The channels here are easier to understand than the source medium classification. In the source medium classification, right, you have got a broader channel, which is, or a broader source of traffic, which is a medium, and then we have a specific type of source within that medium. In the default channels, we don't have this two different levels of classification. Rather, we have a direct level of classification, which are like organic searches, emails, paid searches, social websites, right? Display, clicks, etc., right? So an example of the channels report is here, and you can see that you can say that from organic searches, 6,301 users came in. Now, obviously, this report is easier to understand, but it is less informative as well, because we do not know that for the organic searches, how many people came in through the use of the Google search engine and how many came in through the Bing search engine. That information is available in the median source report, but this is easier to understand. So this is the benefit of this report. And then we have got the tree maps report. It's very visual, and it allows us to compare each source on two different metrics using the size and the color of the report, right? And it is very versatile, because it's possible to drill down further into each source by clicking on the relevant portion of the report. So here is an example of the tree maps report. And you can see very visually that the direct traffic constituted 11,752 users, okay? And the display traffic came, brought in 1,415 users, and so on and so forth. The secondary metric out here is not the number of users, that's the primary metric. The secondary metric is pages per session. So if you take your mouse and if you hover your mouse over where it says 11,752 users in direct, it actually shows you on the mouse hover another piece of information, which is pages per session. And this shows up as 4.42 pages per session. Now, if you look up towards the right in this report, you can see that the pink color actually shows you the low side of the secondary metric. And as you move towards the right, we go into green and darker green. And that tells you that the pages per session increase as you see that color. So, in the organic searches, even though we had 440 users only, the pages per session are likely to be much higher. We also have the campaigns report, and the idea of the campaigns report is to see information for the coming from different campaigns from Google Ads. That's a default. But you can also configure Bing ads, and by Bing ads I mean outside sources which are not Google sources. Campaigns coming from those sources can also be configured, and that data can also be captured. Okay, in all of these kind of campaigns, the attribution is on the basis of the last click, as I have discussed before. Here is an example of the campaign report. You can see that these campaigns were named, and unfortunately had no clicks and not much action out here.